This is my Mazda MX5, which I have won from COPART for 1,450. It was classed as a Category S by COPART, which is probably why I was the only bidder. Back when this car was once on the road, it would have been considered as one of the best drivers' car, and it still is. Though heavier than its previous generation, it was still considered as light and balanced, making it a well-loved car. Mine took a bit of a damage, which ended her being in COPART, and the reason why she is with us, but once she was delivered, I got to work right away. On my previous videos, we changed the damaged crash bar, which I think was the reason why it was a Category S. I also started to remedy the front bumper, and I also managed to change the dash and the blown airbags inside. Not too shabby for a non-mechanic, let alone first time rebuilding a car. And today we have a couple more bits to do. So when you get into an accident, these things lock. Due to sudden deceleration, the seat belts will lock out. So what these are meant to do is, as you get into an accident, these will lock out to prevent you from smashing your face in the steering wheel. And here are my two new seatbelt assembly, which I got from eBay for, I can't remember. Whoa, let me just distract you there for a second. So if you are new to the channel, this is our spend tracker. On the top right hand side, we have the initial cost of the MX5, and on the other side we have our budget, and in the middle is the last item we have spent. This is how many items we have spent, and this is our current total right now, which is £420 and 46 pence. So for the seat belts then, the pair cost me £79 and 90 pence. That then gets an orange box, and that will now bring our current total to £500 and 36 pence. Now back to the other mark. So to remove the old seatbelt then, we have this bolt here, which is pretty obvious, and then the rest of the assembly is behind this plastic trim. To get to the seatbelt assembly, a couple of plastic clips needed to be removed first, then most of the trims will just pop out with a gentle tug. The seatbelt top cover comes off first, followed by the stepping plate and then the side trim. Then did the same on the other side, and then I also started unclipping the hoop cover and the wind deflector so I can remove the big plastic trim. So I thought, I'm not going to give myself more work. We can kind of access the seat belt here, so I think we should just be able to change it from here. To remove the seatbelt assembly, I started with the most visible bolt, followed by the top guide located near the shoulder of the seat. A little vertical guide will also need to be removed, followed by the last three bolts holding the full assembly, and an electrical connection will also need to be disconnected, and then the whole thing should just come out. To put the new one on, everything just has to be done in reverse. Seatbelt assembly in first, three bolts holding it, followed by the vertical guide and then the top guide. Reconnect the electrical connection and then the last bolt on the side. We finally have a fully functioning seatbelt. I am pretty happy with that. That was a nice and easy one. And while we are here, I just wanted to let you guys know, by the way, that we have finally got the V5 for the MX5. That means we are going to be one step closer to putting this car back on the road, because now we can tax the car, we can insure the car. We are one step closer to getting her back on the road. One of the roll bar hoop covers have gone MIA, this one have gone missing. I thought we might as well get ourselves a new set. I'm not a big fan of the chrome, so I got myself a new hoop cover. Here are our new hoop covers. I prefer it not chrome, I prefer it in black. I got these new hoop covers from eBay for £27 and 49 pence. take the hoop covers off, the front cover and clips first, and then the back cover is held by 2 screws, which in my case was not there. Once the screws are off, the plastic trims should just slide out. And I thought while I had the plastic trims off, I'd give everything a bit of a wipe as well. The new one should just go in reverse order. The back cover slides in first, followed by the 2 screws, and then the front cover clips on. Hoop covers now all done, nice and easy. So now that the seatbelts are on and the new hoop covers are on, the next on the agenda then is this. So the boot is rusting quite a lot, so I want to stop that from happening any further. It looks like they have painted it, but it's now starting to rust again. So we are just gonna take everything off, give everything a bit of a clean, and then we will give it a few layers of Hammerite anti-rust paint. I started by removing a couple of plastic trims just to give me a bit more space and to see if there were any other areas affected by rust. I then used a drill with a wire brush attachment to get rid of the flaky rust, then vacuumed it all off. This bit of the boot will not get seen. Nobody's gonna see this because there is a carpet that goes on top of this, but my mind's not gonna be at ease knowing that there's loads of rust underneath there. I then gave everything a wipe with a wet cloth to get rid of the dust, left it to dry, and then it was ready for painting. The paint I am using is Hammerite Direct to Rust Silver Paint. No priming is required, it pretty much does what it says on the tin. So the first coat has now nicely dried up and it's looking so much better. It feels so much better, but we're just gonna hit it with a second coat. But first, let's just mask up the edges and then we'll lay our second coat down. I decided to mask the edges up because I didn't like how the edges looked. I wanted it to look somewhat professionally done. And then it was time to lay the second and the last coat on. Once the paint was all dried, I pretty much just put everything back. I did change some of the plastic clips as they were getting a little old. I also spray painted one of the plastic trims as it was looking a bit weathered and faded. I gave the carpet a good clean before putting it back, and that is the rear boot done. Next on the agenda then are these headlights. They're looking a bit old and worn out, so we'll just give it a bit of a clean and then hit it with a headlight restorer. So the headlight restorer that we are going to be using is this headlight lens restorer by Turtle Wax. To make my life a little easier, I decided to put the headlights back on the car before I started applying the headlight restorer. I then put a couple of drops of the headlight cleaner on a cloth, but moved on to using a dual action polisher just to speed it up a little. That is actually insane how much that's improved already. So the yellowing has gone, but it still looks a little bit dull. So I think we're gonna move on to the next stage, which is the sanding it. The headlight restorer kit comes with a fine sanding pad with 2 sides labeled 1 and 2. I wet sanded the headlight for about 30 seconds with side 1, which I think is 800 grit, and then side 2, which I think is 1200 grit. And then I just buffed it with a wax. I did put this clear acrylic wipe that came with a kit, but I ended up sanding it back down because I didn't like the way it dried. The headlights have come out so nice. It is 100% better, no doubt about it. That's another job done as well. Just look at the state of this. That has been screwed here, so you can see. And it's also got a screw on this end as well. To remove the wing mirrors, the door card needs to be removed so that we can unclip the electrical connection. The door card is held by 3 screws, one behind the door latch, one in the cup holder, and another behind the door handle. Once the screws are removed, I then pried the door card using trim tools, and then the door card should just pull out. I loosened a couple of screws holding the speaker so that I can feed the wire out. Then we can move into removing the wing mirrors. The wing mirrors was held by 2 Torx screws, and I then did the same on the driver's side. There was no problem with the driver's side, but I decided to take them both off so that I could paint them in black. I then sanded the wing mirrors, followed by a layer of prime. I have just realised that the passenger side door mirror that I bought is from a pre-facelift, which is more of a rounded shape, which is completely different to the current one that I have now, which is the facelift, and that's got more of a sharp edge to it. And I've been trying to look for a wing mirror online, and there is nothing available for the facelift model. I don't know, I was literally just about to prime both of them. I'm not too sure what to do anymore. So here is the new replacement wing mirrors. I have managed to get hold of the new facelift wing mirrors. I had to buy them as a pair, unfortunately, so I had to get the 2 wing mirrors in red. All we got to do is sort of dismantle everything, mask everything up, and then sand it down and paint. I got this facelift wing mirrors from Facebook, actually, from a guy called Aaron, and I picked these up from Manchester today. And here is our brand spanking new, newly painted wing mirror. I'm just gonna take all of these bits off and then reassemble it. It looks pretty good, it came out alright. I then got everything reassembled so we can put it back on the car. The plastic trim goes in first, followed by reconnecting the mirror heater connections, and then I just had to give the mirror a gentle push for it to click in place. The difficult thing about this is when I put the wing mirror through, I have to feed the wire in here, and then it comes out at the other end, which is behind the speaker, and that is how much gap I have to try and grab it. To go around this problem, I attached a twine at the end of the wire so that I can just pull this on the other side to expose the connector. I did have to use this stick to guide the twine where I can see it, and then the rest is history. I just had to put the speaker screws back, the door card, and then the 3 screws holding it and its covers. Both of the wing mirrors are finally on, and I am quite happy that I went with black, to be honest, because they look so nice and they just make the car look a little bit more sporty. I did mess up a little bit, so the driver's side I just finished lacquering this morning. I'd left it to dry for about 4 to 5 hours now, but it seems it didn't dry enough. I had sort of damaged it a little bit right there, but that shouldn't be too bad. We can always just repaint that. What do you think of the black wing mirrors? I think they look alright. Let me know in the comments below. Should I have gone the same paint, or do you like it in black? Now it's finally time to put the seats back on. Let's go. As you can probably work out by now, I am a little bit OCD. I had to give the carpets and the seat a bit of a clean first before putting it back in the car. And then it was now time. Putting the seat back in is the last step to completing the interior. The interior was certainly one of my biggest challenge, and to be at this stage is certainly beyond belief. It just goes to show how things become possible if you put your mind to it. We still have a couple more bits to do, but she'll soon be back on the road, and I cannot wait to finally get to drive this car. The seats are finally all back in again. Gosh, the interior is looking so different from what it was. The last time we took the seats off, there were still the blown airbags, and now it is finally a complete interior. I'm just so happy right now. I've been out here the whole day just working on the car, and now we are honestly so close to finishing this car. So I think that is gonna make for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed this part. If you have been following the build, thank you very, very much for the support. Thank you for watching if you have gotten this far. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like and drop a comment. I would very much appreciate any of your support. It would mean a lot for the channel. Thank you for watching and I will see you on the next video. I'm taking Mabel for her first ride on the MX5.
Bruh.
Part 2.